It's no secret that the last few years have been really hard on employees. We've had a pandemic to deal with and all of the fallout from that. We have economic concerns, layoffs going on, a war going on. That has created a lot of stress in the workplace, and that has created a situation where worker engagement is at shockingly low levels. What can you as a project manager do to get your project team more engaged? We're going to talk about this. I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for creating a more engaged project team. Look at this statistic. It comes from Gallup. These people do polling. This is their expertise. They found that only 21% of employees are fully engaged at work. That leaves 79%. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not engaged. That's a problem. You are going to have disengaged project team members on your teams. How are you going to handle it? You yourself may be struggling with engagement. What is a disengaged employee? Gallup describes it as employees who are having a miserable work experience and they are spreading that unhappiness to others. In 2022, Gallup had that number of disengaged employees, the ones who are spreaders of unhappiness, hitting 17%. That's a really high number for disengaged, infectious, in a negative way kind of employees. Engagement at work tends to be regional. If you are in Latin America, if you're in Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, you have higher engagement rates. So that's great. They're still only at about 63%, but that's better than other places. North America and the Middle East, they're kind of in the middle of the pack. In Europe, you've got the biggest problem with engagement rates. So everyone's got problems. It may be worse depending on where you are though. So how are you going to rejuvenate and re-engage your project teams? 5 tips, here they are. Number 1, give your team more work to do. Now that sounds completely counterintuitive. And I'm not talking about giving them more project scope to have to figure out. I'm not asking you to give them more busy work, more updates, more stats to try to provide you. What I'm telling you is give them more authority over the work that they have. Delegate more. Help them to feel responsible. Help them to feel that ownership over the work that they do. If you give a team member or several team members responsibility for taking one piece of the project and they own that, let them run with it. That will help to rejuvenate them. If you hold all of that responsibility yourself, they're not going to feel that sense of ownership. That's going to create disengagement. That's going to be hard for you as a project manager because if you're like most project managers, you like that level of control. Learn to delegate, learn to step away, learn to help. You might even become a better servant leader. Number 2, be a storyteller. And not just any kind of story, but the kind of stories that are positive about the work going on in the project. If you're seeing successes in one area of the project, make sure that those stories are being told to everybody in the project. Better than you telling the story, have those team members tell the stories. Make sure that everybody is seeing the progress and the positivity that is happening across the project. And don't just share successes, share process improvements, share good ideas for changing the way things work. Make sure that you're creating an environment where ideas can be shared. That leads me to number 3. Create a place where everyone can feel psychologically safe. So that's a term that's been out there for a little while now. You hear it once in a while. But what that means is a place where people can share their true feelings about how things are going. If a team member or the team in general doesn't feel like it can share the challenges that it's seeing, that it won't be heard, or that it will be discouraged from sharing those kinds of things, that's not psychologically safe. They are going to just toil away with a little bit of despair. That creates that disengagement. You want them engaged? Allow them to speak freely. That's going to be tough as a project manager because they may criticize the way the project is being run. You know what? Tough. Get over it. Learn to listen. Maybe there are things you can do to improve that. You may also have to step up and be a shield for your team from comments from management. Additionally, you may need to advocate for your team. If something needs to change that's bigger than your project, a big process, a big way of working across the company, you may need to stand up and be the advocate for your team for that item. That creates a psychologically safe place. People know they're going to be listened to. You need that for engagement. Number 4, show respect for people's time. Project managers love meetings. It's a great way to make sure that things are getting done. It's a great way to be sure that everybody is hearing the same information. However, to the degree that you love meetings, your team members correspondingly hate them. It takes away from their actual time that they get to do their work. Do what you can to reduce project meetings. Maybe you can make a project team agreement with the team that says, hey, I won't have this meeting anymore if you promise to do these things, such as give me your updates by a certain time. You can find ways to reduce those team meetings. Another way to respect team members' times is be respectful of time zones. We live in a highly distributed environment now where team members can be anywhere across the world. Make sure that you are treating those team members' time and calendars with respect. Don't drag them into a 7 p.m. meeting their time for something that's not absolutely critical. All right, the last tip for team engagement is for you as the project manager to be the example. Walk the talk. Make sure that you are doing the things that you are asking of your team members. That can be tough. If you're feeling disengaged, it's doubly tough. But the team members need to see you doing what you're saying you're going to do. This is called integrity. If the project managers see you as a project leader with integrity, they're going to be more excited to work with you, work for you, and you will create better team engagement. I hope you enjoyed those tips. I hope you find them useful. If so, please like and subscribe. Thank you.